Disney.
This is from CNN. I don't like watching CNN that much, but even if they're reporting it, you know it's fucking like, yeah, this guy really fucked up. So it's basically like Jimmy Kimmel got fired or something like that from the Tonight Show. So I'll be honest with you, I used to like Jimmy Kimmel a lot. Like in the early 2000s when he was on Comedy Central, he did the Man Show with Adam Carolla. That was such a good fucking show. I don't know what the hell happened to him, bro.
Grab a beer and drop your pants, say your wife and kiss your friends. It's the Man Show. Quit your job and light a fart. Take your favorite private part. It's the Man Show. It's a place where men can come together. Look at the kids on this chicken weather. Doggy girls on trampolines, like the moose in those routines. It's the Man Show.
I don't know, man. I have no idea why he became this way, why he became just a fucking putz, but I don't know, man.
And the ABC network are taking Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air indefinitely. This follows a controversy over comments the late night comedian made Monday night about Charlie Kirk's suspected killer and the MAGA movement and their reaction to the assassination. Let's get straight to CNN's chief media affairs correspondent, Brian Stelter. Brian, what is going on?
That's right. This is fast developing this afternoon, Jake, amid pressure from the Trump-aligned FCC. And in the past few minutes, ABC confirmed to CNN the Kimmel Show will be off the air, quote, indefinitely.
You're fucking out of here.
We've not yet heard from Kimmel or his representatives. That's how quickly this has been developing. But let's back up and look at what Kimmel actually said on the program that has caused controversy. This is from Monday night in his Monday evening monologue. Kimmel suggested that the alleged killer of Charlie Kirk might have been a pro-Trump Republican. He said, quote, the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk.
I've been seeing a lot of that lately. The killer who killed Ryan something, the guy who assassinated Charlie Kirk, was some type of MAGA Republican or something like that. That's what these guys are trying to spin it as. Nobody believes it in any capacity, especially the fact that he wrote in the shell casings like he was writing a lot of like fascism or like whatever type of stuff inside the shell casings. Sorry if I'm misremembering it, but no one's believing the fact that, and also the fact that he was part of like some type of like a furry community. I mean, he also had I believe he had a trans boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. Typically, I don't see many Republican men dating trans people. Just saying. I'm not saying they don't exist, but typically on average, it's typically a lot more left-leaning men, more liberalistic men that typically date like trans people. Like when in like a sexual relationship. So I don't think most people are falling for this. I mean, I didn't buy it. I don't buy it at all.
As anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. He said in between the finger pointing, there was grieving. Kimmel was expressing what we've heard some other liberals say in recent days, that the motives are unclear and that maybe the suspect in this case was a Republican or was some sort of far-right fringe figure. Of course, there has been a lot of discussion.
Doesn't make any fucking sense. I mean, Charlie Kirk was I guess a Republican spokesman or a person who sided more with the Republican Party, even endorsed Donald Trump. So it doesn't make any sense for someone who supposedly is a Republican or part of the Republican like movement to assassinate someone who's part of the movement as well. That makes no sense.
About that in recent days. There's a lot of evidence pointing in other directions about the suspect. But Kimmel was on the air talking about this, making a very serious commentary amid his jokes in his monologue Monday night. Here's where it became interesting earlier today. The FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, went on a far-right webcast and condemned Kimmel and urged ABC to suspend him. He also talked about possible regulatory punishments of Disney because there are lots of different stations that have licenses with the FCC. Within the past hour, we've heard from a big owner of stations that have affiliations with ABC, a company called Nexstar, saying that they were going to suspend Kimmel's show on their stations. So in other words, about 24 stations were refusing to air Kimmel's show.
So he's getting hit from all sides, bro. Hey, man, this guy gets what he gets, man. I have been seeing a lot of people, I haven't been talking about this because I haven't been on the internet that often lately because I'm just going through some stuff. And a lot of people who lean more left, who were celebrating and cheering on the death of Charlie Kirk, they're getting shit canned. A lot of people are like doxing them or like trying to find their information out and then send it to like the what do you call it, like their jobs and stuff like that, like human resources, to get them shit canned, to get them fucking fired. Like honestly, that's a lot better than violence. I don't condone violence in any capacity, but these people, these lunatics have to get what's coming to them. Not in a violent way, as in what they're doing right now, like just completely canceling them. That's the right word right there. Cancel them. They're getting canceled right now. They're losing their jobs. This guy just lost his TV show. People are leaving their party in the Democratic Party in droves. Just cancel. Basically, what they've been doing for years to the right is happening to them now. As long as it's not violent, bro. As long as it's not fucking violent, because I don't condone the violence in any capacity.
Tonight as a result of this controversy. And then following word that some of those stations were basically revolting against Kimmel, Disney, the parent company of ABC, decided to yank the show entirely. So that's all we know at the moment. We know that Kimmel will not be on the air tonight or for the foreseeable future because the network show has been yanked off the air indefinitely.
Brian, just to take one issue.
Fucking out of here.
Your interpretation of what Kimmel said, I think, is the one that Brendan Carr had and the one that the individuals at Nexstar have. But what he said specifically was, quote, "The MAGA gang is desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it." That can be read in several ways. That can be heard in several ways. It could also be it could also be argued he's saying that what the MAGA gang is doing is just trying to make sure that they don't have any ownership of it, not necessarily that this killer, this horrible person, was part of them. I mean,
I think you're making a very important point.
Yeah,
You're making a very important point. And let's take it a little bit step further. This was all on Monday night. Nobody seemed to notice this yesterday, Jake. This all erupted in the past 2 hours when the Trump-aligned FCC chairman decided to point at it. Now, I've heard from him in the past few minutes, Brendan Carr, thanking Nexstar for doing the right thing by yanking the show. He has not yet commented on ABC yanking the show altogether across the entire country. But let's remember that when Stephen Colbert's show was canceled over the summer, what did President Trump say? He said, next up will be an even less talented Jimmy Kimmel. It is clear that pro-Trump allies have been trying to target ABC over Kimmel for several weeks now, and tonight they prevailed.
Yeah, Brian Stelter, thanks so much for that breaking news. Let's go right to the panel. And let me first start by showing, I wondered what was going on earlier today when I saw this pop up on Twitter. This is the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, on a far-right podcast talking about what Kimmel's comments were. Let's roll that tape.
You know, when you look at the conduct that has taken place by Jimmy Kimmel, it appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible. Obviously, there's calls for Kimmel to be fired. I think, you know, you can certainly see a path forward for suspension over this. Again, you know, the FCC is going to have remedies that we could look at.
Joe, are you comfortable with the FCC playing this role?
I don't think this is a legal issue. I don't think this can be pointed to the FCC or the Trump administration and say, well, this is about them going after Kimmel because of what he said. Personally, I think it's more of a cultural issue. And I got to tell you, look, I'm about as moderate a Republican as you're going to get. I'm from New York. I have not been comfortable watching late night television for 15 years because when you
I could probably say the same thing about me. I'm from the East Coast as well, and I guess I would be more like, I'm not left nor right. I'm kind of like more center, like purple, I guess. I guess that's the right way to call it. I'm more purple. You know, there's certain things I lean more left on, and there's certain things I lean more right on. All right, and I think most people in this country are purple. Most people are not like the extreme left or extreme right. All right, that's just my take on that.
Have conservative leanings and you're constantly mocked and you're constantly feel like you're doing something wrong, you should Republican as you're going to get. I'm from New York. I have not been comfortable watching late night television for 15 years because when you have conservative leanings and you're constantly mocked and you're constantly feel like you're doing something wrong, you shut it off. You don't watch it anymore. And then what happens is it's circular. If the host doesn't have that audience, the host doesn't worry about keeping it.
Yeah, I have been noticing that too. Many of these late night talk show hosts and even daytime talk show hosts lean very left. And I've been seeing a lot of this in the past couple of years where they constantly mock, belittle, berate people who not even who are far right, just like center right. They completely just mock them and just shit on their beliefs, just shit on the way that they think, demonize them. It's like, bruh, are you serious? Just for and the demonization of Charlie Kirk just because he stood up and wanted to have a dialogue and a conversation. You know damn well you lost a fucking dialogue if you had to off somebody because you didn't, you couldn't stand up and have a proper debate because you knew you would lose. Yeah, but I've been seeing that a lot in night and daytime talk show hosts where basically people on the right get demonized all the time by people because most of these talk show hosts lean very left, very, very liberal, very Democrat. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to watch that either if I'm just gonna get shitted on. If I was so far right, I wouldn't want to watch that shit.
Audience like that. It goes in circles, and at some point, you get things like this where you say things, and that wasn't the full quote. The further quote was that he mocked President Trump for flying the flags at half-staff in remembrance of Charlie Kirk and said it's like grieving of a 4-year-old, as a 4-year-old grieves for a goldfish.
No,
that was
crazy.
The full quote there.
Well, the full quote was, I think he ran the clip of a reporter asking President Trump how he was doing with the death of Charlie Kirk. And President Trump said, I think I'm doing okay. And then he proceeded to talk about the ballroom that was being built on the White House grounds. I think that was the full context. Again, I didn't say any of this. I'm just trying to present as accurate a picture of what did happen. Ellie, this is the FCC commissioner. Right. I don't think we have seen an FCC commissioner this aggressive in our lifetimes. What do you think of it all?
So, to the point of whether there's a legal element here, I think Joe's right. Like, the First Amendment says Congress shall make no law, which means you can only enforce the First Amendment against the government. So can Jimmy Kimmel sue? No, he can't sue ABC for making a decision to remove him. That's a private entity. But what Donald Trump is doing repeatedly is he's expanding his executive power in two ways. One, I would say, is precedented. That's the traditional stuff. I have more authority to hire and fire executive branch officials. I don't have to respond to Congress, that kind of thing. He's fighting that out in the court. We've seen that before. What's unprecedented, however, is the way Donald Trump is using official power from the FCC on to go after universities, law firms, and media companies that he disagrees.
Yeah, I think I remember correctly when it comes to the university thing. I think he wanted to strip them of their endowment because they're getting a lot of fucking money from like private entities or like from foreign entities, I believe, and that are pushing a lot of this left-wing propaganda. I could be wrong about that. Chat, let me know if I'm on the money or I'm completely off base on that. Please let me know, because I don't get into politics like that. So,
with on policy or on politics. That is new. We've not seen that from any president before.
This is actually cancel culture. I mean, that's what this is. The chairman of the Fed, Federal
I agree with that.
Brent Carr, added on Benny Johnson's podcast that the broadcasters, including ABC, have a license granted by us at the FCC, and that comes with it an obligation to operate in the public interest. Elsewhere in the interview, Carr attacked Kimmel as talentless and suggested the late-night comedian's comments displayed some sort of, quote, desperate irrelevance. Is that what we want the FCC chairman to be doing?
It's a very slippery slope, and there's a pattern. We keep talking about it like it's not happening, and it just keeps happening over and over and over again with folks he disagrees with. I'm a Democrat.
you know, I didn't think this guy would be a Democrat. With the cowboy hat and the Southern accent, I had no idea this guy would be a Democrat. This is a little bit shocking. Thought he'd be more like a very like right-leaning Republican, very red-blooded American type of guy. Shit, I'm in shock. He's a Democratic strategist.
Democrat. I'll say what happened to Charlie Kirk is disgusting. We should have a court. If he did it, he should be prosecuted to every extent of the law. We shouldn't have to say that. That's just common sense. But we also should say the First Amendment matters to everybody, whether they agree or they disagree. And I just think that what we're going through right now is unprecedented. It's unseemly, and I think that it's really.
I agree 100% what this guy said. Absolutely, there should have never been an instance of violence against Charlie Kirk, just because he wanted to speak and spread his ideas. If you wanted to challenge his ideas, you should have debated him, get up on that podium and debate him, or like in a private setting, debate him like that. They didn't want to do that. They decided to take his life and just end it right there so he would never speak again. And he's absolutely right. He should be prosecuted, given life in prison or the death penalty or something like that. And I don't want to hear about no psychological evaluation either. But he was in his right state of mind. He just didn't like the way that he was speaking. He didn't like the rhetoric that he was posting. That's probably what I think that Charlie Kirk's assassin was probably thinking. Like, maybe I don't like the way that he's speaking. I hate his rhetoric. He's racist, sexist, homophobic, just the typical script that people on the left spew. They've been doing this for years. So yeah, if you have disagreements, have a dialogue. Don't resort to violence, because I hope that this doesn't happen, bro. A lot of people are saying that there's gonna be civil war and this and that, bro. You do not want a civil war, man. You do not want a civil war. You do not want a hot war. All right, hot war is basically like guns in the streets, army, shit like that. You don't want that, because no offense to them, well, I don't really care if they're offended. If it's between right and left, I'm sorry. In today's day and age, there are more right people than there are left-leaning people, and there are more people who vote right in living in blue states than the inverse. Not only that, I don't think they want to go against the Southern boys, especially people who like guns, and people who are on the left don't really fuck with guns like that. I mean, they're always like anti-gun and stuff like that. Or is it anti-gun for you guys and not for me? That's probably like, I'm thinking it's probably that. But yeah, I don't think it'll be the wise decision if you want to go, to go to a hot war, bro. And I hope that never happens, man, because war is not the answer. Dialogue is the answer, not war.
Getting out of hand because it's just happening more and more and more with folks who disagree.
We do have the clip that Jimmy Kimmel said Monday night. Obviously this is not the entire 8 or 9 minute monologue. This is just one clip of it, but this is what he said.
A government actor. And I'm thinking sort of off the top of my head here, but if ABC wanted to fight this, clearly they don't because they've made the decision to dispatch or suspend Jimmy Kimmel. If they wanted to fight this, they might have a basis to go into court the same way that law firms have gone into court, and Harvard, among other universities, have gone into court and said, this is an overextension of government power, of executive power. This violates the First Amendment. And again, they can bring that because the FCC is a government actor, but Jimmy Kimmel cannot do anything against ABC because it's private.
One other thing that the FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr did in that interview with Benny Johnson, who, by the way, has said plenty of things that a lot of people find objectionable, is he suggested actually the exact course of action that happened. He said what could happen is local affiliates could complain to ABC about the content, and then those local affiliates could say they're going to refuse to air Jimmy Kimmel Live. And that's actually what happened. Nexstar, which owns a bunch of ABC affiliates, they were the first ones to say in a statement, and Variety broke this news, we're going to preempt the show. Is there any coming back from this, do you think?
Well, I don't think ABC is canceling him because they're afraid of the FCC. I think they're afraid that they're going to lose whatever audience he has left because that's such an offensive thing he said. As far as, look, there's so much media alternatives at this point. So I think the FCC's, the range of authority they have is less and less because there's so many other outlets to reach out to. So if Kimmel wants to reappear somewhere else, he will. I think the point is, though, that, again, when you alienate...
He'll probably try to make his own podcast or his own show, kind of like what Don Lemon did. That's my guess, is that he'll probably have his own shtick that will either bomb really badly or have some inkling of success. It's not going to be huge like what he did with Late Night with Jimmy Kimmel. It's not going to be like that. But either he has his own show or he'll just disappear into obscurity. I highly doubt that's going to be the latter. I highly doubt it.
Part of the population who at some point just stops watching, then you have no incentive to keep whatever left of that audience as there is. And then, it just kind of goes down the drain.
All right. That was from CNN. I'm not liking CNN shit because I don't give a fuck about CNN like that or any newscast outlet, left
President
or right.
Trump, who is...
So, yeah, I don't know what happened to Jimmy, bro. Jimmy used to be...
Disney.
Like I mentioned before when the video first started, Jimmy Kimmel, I used to watch him with The Man Show, bro. What the fuck happened to this guy? What happened, bro? What happened to the early 2000s Jimmy Kimmel, the Comedy Central Jimmy Kimmel, the Man Show Jimmy Kimmel, when he used to fucking end his show like zigzag, yo, yo, yo. He used to end it like that and show girls jumping on trampolines, bro. What happened to that?
Ziggy-zaggy, ziggy-zaggy, hoi, hoi, hoi. Ziggy-zaggy, ziggy-zaggy, hoi, hoi, hoi. Ziggy-zaggy, ziggy-zaggy, hoi, hoi, hoi. Oh my goodness!
What happened, Jimmy Kimmel? What the fuck happened? Oh, bro, man. People will do anything for that fucking dollar, bro. They probably offered him a huge fucking check. And I guess he sold out, I guess. I don't know. Oh, well, shit happens, I guess. It's not working now because he's basically out. So, it is what it is.